Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Tuesday to a Predator Hunting Grounds live stream. I am Albert, the community manager at Ilphonic. I'm joined here today by Jordan, our design director, and Julian, a game designer. Hello, guys.
Hello, Albert. Thank you for having us today.
Yes, sir, and thank you, everybody in the chat, for playing the game, joining us on stream, and continuing to support us and the Predator franchise. We got patch 3.0 available today, the 9th generation update for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and of course PC. As for PS5 right now, as for PS4 right now, the latest patch is coming, but it's still in the approval process, so please keep an eye on our socials to be informed of when the patch will be ready for that system. Apologies for the delay, everyone's working hard to push that one live. But for right now, the upgrade is available on Xbox Series X and S with a bunch of HD upgrade options. So we've got the Standard Edition, the Jungle Edition, and the Yautja Edition with a whole bunch of cool DLC, Predators, and stuff included in those. With the relaunch, we've also got a bunch of new cool social media platforms just for Predator, so make sure to follow those on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, our forums are still going strong, so look out for updates there. We will also be planning on a couple more future streams for future updates, so look out on socials for those things. But as for now, let's hop straight into talking about some of the new content. First off, the beautiful new Predator that we've seen in the trailer, the Feral Predator. Jordan?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off by just saying that this has been an extremely exciting time over the past few months because it takes a while to get something like this in the works, but to be able to jump in here again and kind of return to something that was something that started off early for us. I know this was Julian's first game that he worked on, and one of my big first games. I was originally lead designer on this project. And now coming back to it, it's been really fun to look back on all the cool things that we did back then, as well as what we get to kind of work in today, which is talking about a new Predator, the Feral, which is from the movie Prey. We get to see this awesome new Predator in action. I know we brought the mask a while back when the Prey movie had first come out, but now it's the entire Predator that you get to play as, including a few of his weapons, which we added, which is the crossbolt gun. That is the projectile, the guidable projectile that you can fire and control. It's a very powerful bolt that flies through the air, and then after you fire it, get to pilot it, and then once it has actually landed, that's when you get to go pick it up. It's kind of familiar to some of the other weapons that we have that the Predator can pilot or go pick up, but with a little bit more punch and some visuals that definitely harken back to the movie. Then we get to go to the shield, which is something as well in the movie. This is a little bit different for the game to provide a little bit of gameplay related help, but this thing is still a very powerful weapon that you can use both for attacking with the wrist blades as well as holding it up. It blocks incoming fire. It does go off of your energy reserve, so it has a little bit of a unique dynamic and when you're using it and kind of how you want to play with that in a little bit more of a defensive manner. Excited to see how people use that one because it is quite a bit different than a lot of the other things we have, so it's gonna create some new gameplay and new different things that the fire team themselves are gonna have to consider when they're fighting against predators that use the shield. In addition, we have the Feral Spear, which is a variant for the combi stick. It's just a visual variant, cosmetic. Otherwise, it functions as the combi stick does. I know that it's got a cool, unique design that the Feral Predator was using, so we wanted to make sure we kind of recreated that. So yeah, that's going to be all the Feral stuff. Do you have something, Albert?
I was just gonna say the Feral Spear looks incredible in game. So shout out to the team who, the people who designed it, and then the people who brought it to life in the game, as well as the crossbolt gun. That it is so satisfying to get some of those piercing shots in the collaterals in our playtest. It's been a ton of fun, and I can't wait for the community to get their hands on it. But yeah, I think. Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun for the community to try out. We also have got some other engine upgrade stuff that I know you guys wanted to chat about.
Yeah, so bringing this game from kind of the where it was at to a next gen console. This was something that we had to do in order to get it kind of running on the new hardware, and that was a big engine upgrade, which not a lot of people are probably aware of the process. It's in depth, it's large, and it's quite an undertaking.
It's fun.
Fun. Fun is a great way to describe it for all involved. But yeah, it's been a big process, but in the entire time we've been able to do a lot of improvements, not only for just the optimization and performance wise, but the visuals that take place as we are kind of getting it onto newer hardware. It's fun to be able to start using some of the different things that are able to run and make things look even better. So bringing it up from that allowed us to improve a lot of the textures and materials across the board. We were able to add ray tracing in for anything that supports it. We took the time to upgrade a lot of the audio and VoIP systems and services to match the improvements. And in addition to that, we were able to go for a relight of everything. I'll get into that a little bit more in detail later, but it allowed us to utilize a lot of the new lighting systems and things that should improve. That'll give you a really nice improvement to all the maps that we have, and definitely refresh things that have been in place for a long time. So I can dive into that in a second. Another big part of the upgrade that we were able to explore and add in was getting our new party and friend system in place. There's just a lot that we've iterated on and built over the past few years that we wanted to bring in so that we could implement into our matchmaking and crossplay, because now that we're on even more platforms, we wanted to make sure that crossplay was possible across all of them, so that people that owned it originally were still able to play with the next gen and vice versa across PC platforms as well. So that's really exciting, and the new systems that we have in place for that should make that a lot easier to navigate and kind of jump through, and we continue to improve that as time goes on, because we feel it's a big part of our of the games we develop, that we want people to be able to play together and make that system as seamless as we possibly can. So that's a big improvement that's come in. And I can kind of move on now to talk about the map improvements specifically, because these maps were a lot of fun to build, and as we returned to them, it was really enjoyable to see them undergo kind of a transformation to evolve them based on all these cool engine upgrades we were doing. So that of course included a very substantial relight of all the maps. And you can see as you jump through and play, there's definitely a very different feel that comes from being in the jungles. Now that we've taken some time to really push a lot of the dynamics of what lighting can do in these situations. You'll notice that there was some time spent on the post process to kind of play around with the auto exposure and the way eye adaptation works in these different settings, that kind of transforms the play styles from kind of a flatter look to something that has a bit more dynamic range in the shadows and dappled lighting, so that the camouflage that you're using as characters and the way that you're approaching your ways of hiding definitely makes a bigger difference in those types of situations. Especially, I kind of gave an example before, the Predator is able to use the brightness of the sun behind them as an attack strategy. For the fire team that are looking up into it, will need to kind of consider that when they're getting approached. So it does bring in a few more elements in the realism factor for that just improves the overall look.
Yeah, get a little bit of glare in your eye. There are also, I will put a little tease in here, on our socials pretty soon. We'll be releasing kind of the side-by-side comparisons of how the game looked before all the relighting and the reflections and the ray tracing and the cleanup that Jordan just described, and these comparison shots are gorgeous. I will just say that.
Yeah, it's been cool to see it transform, and kind of along with that, like, there's a lot of improvements around light maps, reflections, just in general, not just for some of the ray tracing ads, but just improving the water materials. A lot of the landscape materials got optimized. There was some foliage cleanup and a lot of things that just really improved a lot about the game in so many different ways. including night vision, got a pass that definitely helped out create those night map threaded post launch originally, and something that we took a shot at again with the relight that not only gave a new night look but also added a new night vision that feels a lot more grounded and realistic and useful in a lot more scenarios. So that's been a really exciting process. And I know, Julian, you were kind of poking around in there too. We were kind of teaming up throughout this process, just trying to clean up and make as much things as possible good for gameplay as well as just visuals. Have anything specific you can talk to?
A lot of what I dealt with between the improvements with all the post-processing changes, some things really needed to kind of be looked at from a different angle, especially when it came to like mission interactions and stuff like that, like with certain materials we were using, or like go over here and place this item or destroy this. Sometimes I had to make some new materials for that, also clean up some of the terrain so that paths look a little more clear. We can really like punctuate those pockets of cover and stuff, and make it so that whenever you're trying to like flank around or hide and stuff, especially for me because I love to flank and I love to be like the odd one out to like look out for the pred and stuff, really going in and really just tuning those little spots and getting those good stealth locations to really pop and to like be more visible and clear to use.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a fun process to kind of go back to it. Like, what was? Did you find anything at any point that you had like? Because I know that you had worked on these maps and missions a long time ago, and I know that that's kind of something you go back and you kind of reckon with your old work, and it can sometimes be shocking.
Yeah, there was some spots where I'm like, why did I do this? Especially with some destructibles and like barrels. I'm like, why did I put this barrel right next to a health kit or something?
Yeah.
Or like next to like a mission objective. So it's like, I was a rookie back then. I knew a lot less. I was like fresh out of college, and I started off as a level designer. And now that I've worked on Red when it started, and then the other projects we've had, I now have a better design knowledge.
He's coming back with tons of experience.
Yeah.
The that's what's so cool about video games. It's always just an iterative process, regardless of if a project is done or not. Like, to be able to go back through and re-experience that is a lot of fun. And that kind of leads me into the next thing, which was kind of my side predominantly, was really focusing in on doing what I could in the meantime while all this upgrading was happening to improve playability where I could and find things that I just didn't catch before as we were moving towards ship, to just give an extra layer of polish and improvement, and kind of finding the things that I knew would make the biggest difference for players, new and old. Like, we want to make sure that these things that a game that's getting into people's hands, especially on the Xbox side, who haven't played it before, there's still things that I felt needed to be looked at and improved to make that first time experience more enjoyable, but also just for the player that's been playing for 1,000 hours that wants to come back and re-feel that. So first off, I definitely detected a new controller pass was needed, so I did a full pass on the controller feel in general, specifically focusing on the FPS side with some more improvements going into the third-person side as well. We also added a good chunk of new options on the settings menu to help you further from where I've left the base off. Now you can go in and tweak a lot more options with sensitivities and dead zone and stuff like that. So it should give people a little bit more control over, what they want it to feel like. There was numerous HUD improvements. I audited basically the whole game through to see where there were things that just weren't showing up correctly. Like, sometimes there were some replication issues, but ultimately there was a lot of easy wins that could be done with just going through and kind of solidifying a lot of the scripting around how things were firing off or when it was happening, and made big improvements, especially around the mission related HUD stuff. There was just some things that needed some work to just pop a little bit more, so it was a little bit more readable, and they've done a big improvement on kind of how that's being handled. A lot of the feedback additions, not just on the mission HUD side, but looking at combat directly, and stamina feedback, and some of the alerts that come through really are tough to catch when there's a lot of chaos going on, especially for the Predator. So we took some time to kind of bolster some of that feedback. A lot of the gameplay, I found some just different settings and input related things that really took just a few tweaks and tunes to really make it feel better and more solid, especially with stuff like the leap and pred core. There was just some options that I was able to get through and work with some of the engineers to tighten up some of the listening of input, so it removed some of the issues that came with that. So that's definitely made a big improvement across the board. And another one that I found, which kind of goes along with the new lighting, but was definitely an issue before, is the Predator's vision in night mode could get pretty rough and tough to see. And since he didn't have, the night vision on that side, granted they have the thermal, but not masks can get knocked off, and when you get descended to second wind, it was extremely difficult to see things. So we added overrides, post-process overrides for the Predator specifically, that they were able to have a better time in the night maps to be able to navigate that, even if their mask does get shut off, which should definitely improve that. And took some looks at the spectator cam experience. Chance, our one of our engineers, has discovered some things over time and implemented those in to improve how the spectator cam operates and moves, and has definitely added a lot on that side. And additionally, we took the time to add some new menu dioramas, those cool shots at the beginning of the game with the new Predator in, and just all the Predator in the game in general. Wanted to add a few more of those so that there was just some cool new screenshot opportunities and just something else nice to look at as you log in each time. So that's I think that's kind of the high level overview. There's a lot of other little things that I won't get into, but that's kind of the gist of kind of the things I was focusing on as I had the time to, as these things were kind of falling into place. In addition,
I was going to say really big quality of life improvements. And for all the small stuff that we're not going to go over in detail, you guys can check out the patch notes, which are up on the website and on the forum and on Steam.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll also speak to the audio improvements. We, like I'd mentioned earlier, there was an upgrade in the service around just getting that to the new thing, into the new next gen environment. So along with that, and along with the playability, I worked closely with the audio team to, one, find a lot of things that weren't playing correctly or just weren't firing off or weren't loud enough, as well as a lot of things that I felt needed to be added to improve the experience. So there's a lot of new roars across the various Predator classes, so you can hear some more uniqueness amongst the
I did see that
Preds.
question, yeah. Someone was asking that, and they're like, yep, it's time for some new roars. Go give them a listen for yourself.
Yep, no, it's really fun to see that. Definitely a huge addition just for fans of the Predators, because there is such a more unique vocalization that happens as we've kind of branched out. So it's been fun to get those in. And otherwise, like a lot of gameplay stuff, like an example of one that we got in there was there's a sound effect around energy regeneration. Some of the sounds weren't quite recognizable, so we got one that, a few things that kind of allowed you to understand when your energy was recharged, as well as kind of improve the sounds of it during, so that there's a bit more of that combat reactivity messaging, so that you're just more aware of your state as the Predator. Once again, it's a very fast-paced thing that combat can get out of control really quickly. So I really wanted to focus in on getting people messaging as much as we possibly could, kind of take those easy wins to make sure that players, especially new Predators, truly understand the state that they're in, so they can make that split-second decision with the information they have. So a lot of the stuff went into that, as well as we did a full pass on a lot of the fire team's hit impacts and combat feedback. One of my favorite being the fact that you'll hear a nice noise when you knock off AI helmets now. That nice, satisfying.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
Sound.
I've been loving rocking the snipers.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's been good. So the NPCs have also we took some time to make some adjustments there. I took a pass on the fire team bots. They they needed a little bit of tuning to not be so laser accurate, and we also spent some time making them not just hunting you down as a solo player. So we wanted to give the Predator players an opportunity to jump into private matches as a solo Predator and learn weapons, learn how to fight against the fire team and not have them hunt you down and take you out instantaneously. So that's seen some improvements. Another big one that I felt needed to be addressed, and this is definitely kind of in the balance realm on these two, the camp alarm efficiency. The AI are now a lot snappier at actually arming the alarm. I was seeing a lot of cases where they were fumbling and just having a lot of problems activating the alarm, so that, you know, it was very easy to avoid it and take them out, because once they got there it was like 5 seconds almost that it would take, and sometimes longer depending on if they got interrupted. So we took some time to adjust the logic and quicken that up. So if you see someone marked as going to the alarm, better hit them before they get there, because it's going to cause you a lot more issues. As well as the fact that now snipers are much more accurate and scary. They were suffering from a variable that was not really tuned correctly, so they were a lot more inaccurate than they should have been, and now they are much more accurate, and it's going to make a difference, so that when you see that laser, you're going to want to take them out, or they're gonna do some damage. So those both being some pretty significant updates. And kind of one of the more biggest parts of balance, I would say, are going to affect this for everybody. I think people that are really efficient at eliminating the guerrillas will see it as a, you know, it's going to be a bit more challenging, because you'll lose a lot more when there's extra, you know, enemies on the field from alarms, and when the snipers are landing their shots. That will definitely favor the Predator as just a way to, it's going to spend more ammo, it's going to cost more health for the fire team in the long run, unless you are on point. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as we're looking to kind of gauge the balance out of this new wave update. Julian, I'll let you talk about the destructibles a little bit, because those went through a little bit of work.
Yeah. So the destructibles, we had some unintended behaviors with some of them. Things like the wooden crates. Sometimes if you walked on them after you destroyed them, you would like jitter around because you would walk on the little pieces. I went in there and I went ahead and fixed that. So a lot of those destructibles that break into pieces, they shouldn't like cause issues like that anymore. We also had some fixes for the mission destructibles, so like all the server blades and stuff like that. Getting proper like UI highlighting for them, making sure that they destroy correctly. We had some silly bugs with different HP values that would cause some of them that would break correctly, and sometimes they wouldn't. So just going in and cleaning all that stuff up, that way, you know, makes the mission go smoothly, and stuff like that. I have some other mission destructible stuff, but I'll talk about that later when I talk about the other mission things that I've fixed up. But yeah, for the most part, they're more responsive. They're destroying and taking damage more correctly. So won't have to worry about all those silly little things.
I added more impulse to them as well, so
yeah.
There's definitely a bit more of a pop. So definitely have fun, especially, you know, the barrels and the propane tanks and things. There were some tweaking around just how quickly they destruct and kind of the damage and stuff. So have some fun just kind of testing those out, but at the same time they're also more fun to destroy, because you get to see the things fly farther. It's the little things sometimes in these action-based games, but yeah, that was an easy one to get in. That just made that more enjoyable.
Can confirm. I've been having a lot of fun with those destructibles.
And then the other one, that's another one, the tree branches. That was one that was definitely, they were a bit too healthy, and turning them down has definitely added a lot of fun to including them getting an actual destruction sound. Shoot the tree branches now and the pred core trees, and it's a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, at the same time, you're cutting off the routes, man.
Yeah, half the time it's I just enjoy destroying foliage in this game, whether it's on the ground or in the trees. Anyway, last little section here, just kind of touching on balance one final time. Like I said, there's some significant changes to the AI, I would say, as far as like what implications there's going to have, but there's a few other ones I want to go over here. But on a kind of a grander scale, we are very much just paying attention to things now as they are. Didn't want to change a significant amount about what was in live before, just because there's a lot of new players coming in, and there were some kind of wider spread, just minor things that I feel will have bigger downstream effects. So I think it's important that we monitor and keep an eye on what's in live right now, as well as listen to feedback and make calls based on that going forward. But the things I did adjust that I think are going to have some big ones, probably the biggest is implementation of a bit more of a granular damage zone setup for the predators. We didn't touch their health, but they do take damage a little bit differently depending on where you hit them. So headshots are more valuable and limb shots are less valuable kind of mentality. So it is going to make a difference. It's going to help the predators a lot in kind of gauging your approaches, and it's going to definitely benefit people that are going for the head more often than before. So that's definitely going to be a big step. It's not a huge adjust, like it's not big, but these values, they add up and quickly depending on like what the situation is. So it should give a lot more weight to the different things that you bring into the battlefield. I like to, now that this change is made, it makes a lot more sense to exercise the use of an SMG. If the predator is trying to get up and close and personal a lot more, an SMG is very effective at close range, and now with the tweaks that have been made, it makes more sense and kind of starts to really bend towards the gameplay that we've been trying to get out of this. So it's going to be exciting to see how that stuff has come through. Made a few tweaks on recoil on a few of the fire team weapons, and then another big one is I reduced the secondary ammo stores for the secondary weapons. Those were very plentiful and powerful weapons, so I feel like I'm going to dial those back just to see where we stand after this, as well as just a few minor tweaks to some of the predator weapons that we felt were getting a little bit beefy and were excelling in some scenarios a little bit much. So these tweaks should all be available in the patch notes to check out, as well as a list of a lot of the bugs that we fixed that were originally in live. So I feel like we did a big pass over all the community feedback, as well as anything that was getting a lot of noise, so that we could isolate and really dial into the things that we wanted to have for this new update.
In general, like Jordan was saying, make sure you're reporting any issues you're running into, and giving us any of the feedback on our official forums at forum.predator.ilfawning.com. And on our social media channels, especially those new ones. We will be monitoring all your feedback very closely, and making adjustments and looking out for bugs from there.
Yep, it's extremely helpful to be getting information in as people are playing. There's a lot of coverage that we don't get internally that is being done in live right now, as well as just different play styles. So the feedback we get. Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely just a whole different ball game in live. So it's really crucial that people are relaying and kind of giving us the information as you play and the different experiences you have, so that we can continue to work on this and dial it in, so that we can really build the best experience possible. Like, I think we've really nailed that Predator experience, and the more, with so many things on the table, there's a lot to kind of balance out to make sure that it's really firing on all cylinders for everyone that's playing it. So we're excited.
Yeah. And
Julian, I think there's a few little things that you can go over quick just on your side. I'm sorry I went on for so long, but there was a lot.
No, you're good.
And I wanted to make sure that it's out there as far as the things we were improving on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the last bit of things that I'm going to go over include some of the UI adjustments and improvements, and some like other little gameplay things and mission stuff that I'm sure you guys will appreciate. For objective stuff with UI, we've really honed in on making sure we communicate what is what. Because, we have our primary objectives, and each primary objective, there's like different kinds of primary objectives, as well as secondary objective, reinforcement, all that stuff. So I've gone through and made sure that I put in each icon so that you can clearly see what mission is for what thing, and especially as you get your secondary mission to pop up, if that jumps, or if you get your reinforcement to pop. Those have been icon coded, reinforcements color coded, stuff like that, so we can just better communicate what's going on and what each waypoint means, and so you can determine which one do you want to go for. Do you want to keep doing the mission? Do you want to sneak away and hope that you can get to reinforcement before the pred gets you or something? And just stuff like that, just streamlining it, making sure that we clearly communicate all that stuff. I talked about earlier how with the place items and stuff, we have a new material so that it's easier to see with the improved graphics, because shadows and stuff look way more better and more realistic, but at the same time in certain places where you have to place a thing that isn't there yet, make sure that you can properly see where you're actually interacting with stuff.
Wasn't it just like a transparent black material, if I remember?
Yeah,
correctly?
it was a transparent black material. So before, when the shadows
Show
weren't
up well.
yeah, it was like good enough. But now with the improved shadows and everything, it's like much more stark. I've like placed a brick here, and I'm like, where? I'm too close to see it. So I made sure I did that so that it'd be easier to see, and that even from far away, if you're trying to figure out where you need to place your objective, or like around the corner or something, you'll find it. Ooh, predator weapon and ammo pickups. So something that has happened a few times before and that we've worked to improve is sometimes with predator, because you can like throw your combi stick or shoot arrows pretty much anywhere, instances where they were unretrievable, and I found there was issues with the pickup collider. So now I've standardized all the pickup colliders for like the combi sticks, the smart disc, arrows, all that good stuff that you can use and then go pick back up. I've also increased the size of those colliders, so now should be way less instances of like stuff getting stuck somewhere and you can't pick up your combi stick again. So, and also it'll just be easier to just like zoop by and snatch it up as you're trying to weave in and out.
Fast-paced gameplay. It's good to have that retrieval
having
detection
those
on.
Updates in the playtests have been feeling real good, especially with the crossbolt gun, since that is also that type of ammo. You're shooting that all around and then and going to retrieve those when you're able to. Also, I'm seeing a lot of questions about some stuff regarding the Jungle Hunter 87. We're getting a fix in place soon, so to make sure this is taken care of. So keep an eye out on our social channels for further updates. I've also been seeing a lot of people type in the giveaway thing. That one's on me. The giveaway will be at the end of the stream, and we'll be giving away a Yautja edition key. So you'll be getting all of your very cool
Bionic
DLCs
is
and
one of my
stuff.
favorites.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff included in there. So that'll be at the end of the stream. You'll see a Streamlabs bot thing go off, a little notification in chat, and we'll announce it. So that'll be coming in just a little bit. Back to... Sorry for interrupting you, Julian.
No, you're good. You're good. The last thing I was going to talk about is, again, some mission stuff. Probably should have talked about this when I was talking about Collider stuff. But with all the many, many different missions that we have and all the different ways that we put them together, I've gone through, clean up a good portion of just like quality of life type stuff. Like, for example, in Derailed, there's the mission where you airlift a tanker. There was some collision issues with that where you couldn't like go underneath the tanker like all the other trains you could, and you just collision stuff that was a little too big. So streamlining things like that and improving those colliders and like resolution with all that stuff has been improved.
I'll have you know,
just to
Julian, I set
streamline.
up that tanker. That was my mission that I built, and
Well, I took over it.
I didn't want you
said,
crawling
"Take
under
this,"
that
and
for
threw
a
it at
reason.
me. But it's so fun.
Yeah,
just,
yeah, no,
just
that's
slide right under and be like, you can't see me.
That's good. That's good. I was mostly trying to keep people from getting on top of it when I built it, so I probably totally just blocked
yeah.
it underneath. Because yeah, that was something I
Mm.
think you could try and
I
do, or
think
at least people in the company would do that instantly during
oh,
that mission.
I was
So
one of those people
yeah,
every
pretty
time.
cool.
So far though, I haven't been able to make the full trip, but no,
Yeah,
it's
I
still
don't think
fun.
I was ever able to. There's just like several moments, but that's
Yeah,
one of my favorite missions. Memorable for sure.
yeah,
But that's I think that's a big, pretty much the big list of things from a high level. I think there's a lot of little
yeah,
things, like I said, that's on the patch notes that just improve so many different things and bring a really fun experience to the Xbox community that has not seen this game yet. So getting a full year, several years of updates and maps and stuff on top of what was originally released is just a really cool thing to be able to see. So I'm excited to see everyone kind of make their way through all the content and see it in action, as well as just see the multiplayer side unfold and all the different new variations and community content that comes with it. I'm ready for this and excited for all the things that are incoming.
Yes, sir.
Take it away, Albert.
for sure.
Well, I just want to let you guys know that we do have a known issues list coming out on the official forums. But I also saw that on the forums people were still talking about the reckless specialization thing, so we just wanted to say that we have addressed that one. And also earlier today, we just wanted to say thank you for being patient with the server maintenance, and everything should be good there. And in general, thank you all so much for sticking with us, sticking with the Predator franchise. We really appreciate you guys being here, playing the game, supporting us, and then also just having a ton of fun in the jungle and with the hunt. I personally am, newer to Elephonic, so I'm very excited to engage, interact, and play with y'all in the jungle. So yeah, post your bugs, your issues, your feedback on the forums. There's a lot of stuff that we're aware and working on. And yeah, just thank you again for being here. Make sure to follow our new socials and join the forum if you're not already. Just one more time for the people joining the stream late. The game is now available on Xbox Series X and S and PS5. And we'll be streaming this game in the future with some gameplay and probably having Jordan and Julian back on for some future streams and future updates. For now, thanks so much for watching. We're going to run a giveaway. And let you guys go and enjoy yourselves in the jungle. Alright, here we go. Giveaway starting. You guys are going to have 3 minutes to do it. The winner will be chosen at the end of a couple of minutes, and we'll ping you to get some more info from you so we can give you your key. But otherwise, Julian, Jordan, thank you so much for being here and joining me and representing us. And I'll see you two very soon as well.
Are you kicking us out now?
I am indeed.
Okay. Fine. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right.
Good luck.
Yep. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in the jungle. See you.